Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the cell structure lecture. We're going to start off by talking about chloroplasts. Again, yesterday we talked about mitochondria and how they are the powerhouse of the cell. That's what creates energy. Using sugar, they're able to make ATP. Well, chloroplasts are also something similar, not the same, but something similar. They are an organelle that is used to make sugar from the sun. So these are organelles that are usually present in the cells of plants and other eukaryotic cells that do photosynthesis. We're going to talk much more about photosynthesis in a couple units. Just like the mitochondria, chloroplasts are surrounded by two membranes, and you definitely need to know these structures and their names and be able to label them. The thylakoids are the membrane sacs. They kind of look like pancakes. I'll show you a picture next. And the grana are a stack of the thylakoids. So you see here, here's a structure. You see these pancake-looking things. Those are each one of those is a thylakoid. The stack of them is called a grana, and then this empty space in here, that's called the stroma. So you should be able to label a picture of a chloroplast or a mitochondria and be able to label these different structures. Another concept I wanted to discuss a little bit further was this concept of the endosymbiotic theory. So scientists have been always kind of been curious to try to figure out how exactly did these simple cells that were discovered or that started about 4 billion years ago, how did these simple cells become these very complex eukaryotic cells that have chloroplasts, that have lysosomes, that have ER, and have Golgi apparatuses, and all that good stuff. So what they've kind of theorized at this point is that basically you had two prokaryotic cells, so two kind of prokaryotic cells, and one was much larger than the other. And that one literally engulfed the second cell and developed this symbiotic relationship. And in the case of mitochondria and chloroplasts, the mitochondria and the chloroplasts are thought to be those smaller cells. So a smaller cell was the mitochondria, and when that got enveloped by this larger cell. And that larger cell basically gave protection to the mitochondria chloroplasts. And the mitochondria and chloroplasts did a reciprocal kind of relationship, and it provided energy or sugar to the cell, to the bigger cell. And so it kind of formed this symbiotic relationships where both benefited in this case. So a lot of evidence is there to support this theory. First, that mitochondria and chloroplasts have two membranes and not one. They possess their own unique set of DNA and ribosomes, and they're about the same size as a normal prokaryotic cell. And also they divide by a process very similar to a process bacteria do. So looking at this, I would definitely say this is an eligible essay question, just talking about this. We'll definitely discuss this further in class, but just write that down, keep in mind that's definitely an essay question, in addition to how proteins are transported throughout the cell. So again, here's a figure you can take a look at, pause the video and take a look at. We're next going to go to cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is basically cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton is basically this skeleton within the cell. That's why we call it a cytoskeleton. Cyto means cell. Skeleton obviously means like a defined structure within. So basically, cytoskeleton gives support and shape to the cell. It also keeps organelles in fixed locations, so they're not off wandering in different parts of the cell. And they also are used as kind of highways almost. Molecules use the cytoskeleton to transport things across the cell. So when we talk about cytoskeleton, you need to know the functions as well as the different fibers that are used. So first fiber is called an actin fiber. Actin fibers are very important in muscle contraction. It's basically actin fibers and another type of actin filaments and another type of fiber that basically composes your entire muscle. Microtubules provide organization to the cell and move materials within the cell. if an example, when we talk about cell division, those spindle fibers that reach out and separate the chromosomes, those are microtubules, those spindle fibers. We'll talk more about that later. And then intermediate filaments, they just basically provide structural stability, making sure the cell stays in the shape it needs to be in. So here are some examples. You see microtubule here, microtubules. You see intermediate filaments, again maintaining that structure, and then actin filaments. So cell movement takes on a few different forms. Crawling is accomplished via actin filaments and protein myosin, so as far as being able to move around the cell. Flagella are used to basically whip. The sperm tail is a flagella. It basically whips around and is used for locomotion. And then cilia are another type of fiber, again, part of the cytoskeleton that's used to move cells forward. Important unique factor about cilia and flagella is that it has this unique arrangement of microtubules, which is called a 9-to-2 structure. And basically the only thing I really want you to know about that is that this 9-to-2 structure is unique to cilia and flagella. That's kind of basically what I want you to know from this. And they're 9-to-2. Again, we have 9 macrotubules on the outside and then 2 on the inside. Again, that's very unique to cilia and cilia and flagella. Some extracellular structures include cell walls, which are present in the cells of plants, fungi, and some protists. Usually it's a carbohydrate, or usually the material the cell wall is made out of is called a carbohydrate. So you already learned that plant protist cell walls are made of cellulose. Fungal cell walls are made of chitin. And that's it. So, and this kind of gives you as a nice table to kind of cover the, what is present in which cell. So on the test, you should expect some type of question comparing what's in an animal cell and plant cell and comparing the difference between a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. So the answers to that would be within this table, kind of understanding the differences, like the fact that centrioles aren't in plants, the fact that a nucleus is absent in a prokaryote. Those kind of unique factors you definitely want to know about. But that's it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.